Hey.
Domantas Sabonis is not the problem on the Sacramento Kings team. Now, this whole Kings season has been really funny in my opinion because they are essentially playing just as good as they did last year. I mean, even if you look at their record through 52, 53 games, however many they played, they're like one game off from each other, if not the same. Yet they received no love for the All-Star game voting with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis. They just continued to be disregarded amongst the rest of the West. No one cares about the fact that they're still a high-powered offense because every other team has gotten to their level in terms of offensive rating, and they're no longer the historic all-time NBA offense, even though they are literally putting up the same numbers. Regardless, Sacramento currently sits in 8th place in the Western Conference. They are in that little cluster from that 5 to 8 seed range where you could pretty much move anywhere in that section, whether you win or lose on a given night. But one thing that I do know for sure when it comes to the season is that Domantas Sabonis is not getting nearly enough love for the improved basketball that he is playing, as he has clearly become the most important player on the Sacramento Kings team, at least in my opinion. I love De'Aaron Fox. He had an amazing season last year. He got very popular. Clutch Player of the Year, was the best fourth quarter player in all of NBA, and he was a really exciting and fun player to watch. But when it comes to this season, I don't want to say he's fallen off a cliff, but he has been more inconsistent. There are stretches of games where he's just not shooting the ball well, he's not getting points, he's not doing what he was doing last year. And when those games and stretches occur, it has been Domantas Sabonis who has been the stabilizer, keeping that offense flowing, and just overall making this Sacramento Kings team still a tough team to beat every given night. I mean, let's just take a second and look at the numbers that Sabonis has been putting up ever since 2024, the turn of the calendar, however you want to say it. Since that point, he is leading the league in triple doubles. I could be mistaken, but I also think he's just full season leading the league in triple doubles as well, which I know triple doubles aren't cool anymore. Russ and Jokic made them not cool, but it's still a very impressive feat to accomplish. But even just looking at the recent weeks, his last 3 games he has triple doubles. 5 of the last 6 triple doubles, 6 of the last 8 triple doubles. Like, he's just 21 rebounds, 26 rebounds, 15 assists for a big man. These are Jokic type numbers. In fact, even if we just check the averages from that first game of 2024 to now, he's at 21 points, over 14 rebounds, almost 10 assists, almost averaging a triple double. Not to mention he's shooting 54% from 3, which I know it's on 1 attempt a game, but still ridiculous. Plus, if you actually do go and watch the games, it is evident that Domantas Sabonis is the entire engine offensively for this Kings team. And the main reason for that is because Sabonis is currently the best high post player in the entire NBA. You can probably throw Jokic in there, but he just scores in such a larger variety of ways that I think if you just look strictly at high post usage, I don't know what the numbers say, but Sabonis eye test feels like he is the best in the league at that spot. And it's a big reason why that assist number is so high in a lot of games recently, is because he is just feeding off of these little handoff screens that he likes to set in the high post. Whether it's Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox, Kevin Huerter coming off for a shot, even Keegan Murray's run a few handoffs with him. He's just so good at it. I could see how people could maybe say that these are like fake assists or something because all he's doing is handing the ball off and setting a screen. But it's the fact that he uses those screens. He is such a good screener that he's able to get the ball handler, the guy that he's passing to, so open that it does count as an assist in the stat book. So first of all, you can't complain about that. But second, the point I'm trying to get to is Sabonis is just an elite screen setter and handoff guy that there is a reason why he gets so many assists this way and others don't. And despite the fact that he's not the craziest ball handler and he's not flashy or anything like that, he still has a ton of strength. He's able to bulldoze his way to the rim. It makes driving to the rim very easy for him, especially if he fakes a handoff and then attacks the rim. And he's actually a pretty good passer off of the drive. I think this is kind of an underrated thing for Sabonis. He had one play in the game I watched where he had a nice little drive and dump to Kevin Huerter on a cut. He had a few drives and kickouts to shooters, and although they're not always assists because, guys miss, it's still very impressive to see a big man doing stuff like this. But I think perhaps the most interesting thing about Sabonis' career arc so far is, everyone hypes up the whole Brook Lopez thing of how he went from a post scorer to a deadly 3-point shooter. And I think it's also important to talk about the Brook Lopez-ification of Domantas Sabonis as well. Because he too came into the league mostly a low post guy that would get you buckets down low, he'd grab you rebounds, and that was about it. But he's taken after the Jokic model, and he has turned into one of the best passing and facilitating bigs in the entire NBA. You can see him grabbing rebounds and pushing it up the court like a point guard. You can see all this stuff from the high post that I just talked about for the last couple minutes. All this is to say that you almost kind of forget that he's actually also just a very capable scorer in the low post. He's, again, also a great rebounder, so offensive rebounds, if he does crash the glass, he's really good at getting those putbacks. More importantly, he's also just great as a roll man, whether it's a short roll and he's kicking out or if he's attacking the rim. Again, this goes back to those handoffs and screens that he is always setting and passing, as again, if the defense does decide to cover the man that he is handing the ball off to, then you run the risk of leaving Sabonis with a head of steam to the rim, and that is not a good sign for NBA defenses. Now, I do think the one area where Domantas Sabonis loses a lot of respective NBA fans is that he's not the greatest defender. Again, he falls under that Jokic category where he is tremendous offensively, but people just don't respect him because he's not the typical rim protecting NBA center that a lot of teams use in their lineups nowadays. And while I can see the vision for that, Sabonis is by no means a terrible defender. I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's all defensive or anything, because guys are gonna get his buckets against him. But I just feel like it's important to point out that Sabonis gets his fair share of stops and has good defensive possessions as well. And plus, at the end of the day, when he's doing stuff like this on offense where he is literally controlling entire possessions and bending the defense to his will and creating baskets just off of himself by himself, his gravitation, whatever you want to say, it's fully worth to have him on the court because he is a special talent. So overall, I'm confused at this point when I see talking heads in the NBA media world say things like, oh, the Kings aren't going anywhere until they upgrade Domantas Sabonis, or they're not going to win a championship until they solve the Sabonis problem, because Sabonis isn't the problem. He is the farthest thing from the problem on this Kings team. If you want to talk about problems, maybe talk about the fact that Kevin Huerter is wildly inconsistent and probably not a starter caliber guy in the NBA. Or talk about the fact that their bench is really not good outside of Malik Monk, or maybe like the occasional good Davion Mitchell game. Either way, Sabonis has been the clear-cut best player on this team. I'd be very interested to see if the Kings can secure a playoff spot and finish in that 5 to 6 seed range, because obviously with the Embiid injury, he's not going to win MVP, and I would love to see, not necessarily see Sabonis win MVP, because that's obviously never going to happen, but I'd be interested to see what the discourse around Sabonis is for MVP if the Kings do clinch that playoff spot. Because again, just based off of the stats and eye test alone, Sabonis has been an MVP level guy. His impact on this team is incredible. Again, with De'Aaron Fox playing inconsistently, he is the entire offensive engine for this team, and if he struggles, then the entire team struggles. Overall, I would just like to see some more love for Domantas Sabonis because he deserves it. But that's all I got for this one. As always, if you enjoyed, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of those good things, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.